Vittoria looked harrowed as she scanned the church. "So," she whispered. "Where is this cheeky chapel?" Langdon gazed through the dusky ghostliness toward the back of the cathedral and studied the outer walls. Contrary to common perception, Renaissance cathedrals invariably contained multiple chapels, huge cathedrals like Notre Dame having dozens. Chapels were less rooms than they were hollow semicircular niches holding tombs around a church's perimeter wall. Bad news, Langdon thought, seeing the 4 recesses on each side wall. There were 8 chapels in all. Although 8 was not a particularly overwhelming number, all 8 openings were covered with huge sheets of clear polyurethane due to the construction, the translucent curtains apparently intended to keep dust off the tombs inside the alcoves. It could be any of those draped recesses, Langdon said. No way to know which is the cheeky without looking inside every one. Could be a good reason to wait for Olive. Which is the secondary left apse? She asked. Langdon studied her, surprised by her command of architectural terminology. Secondary left apse? Vittoria pointed at the wall behind him. A decorative tile was embedded in the stone. It was engraved with the same symbol they had seen outside a pyramid beneath a shining star. The grime-covered plaque beside it read, "Coat of Arms of Alexander Chigi, whose tomb is located in the secondary left apse of this cathedral." Langdon nodded. Chigi's coat of arms was a pyramid and star? He suddenly found himself wondering if the wealthy patron Chigi had been an Illuminatus. He nodded to Vittoria. "Nice work, Nancy Drew." "What? Never mind." A piece of metal clattered to the floor only yards away. The clang echoed through the entire church. Langdon pulled Vittoria behind a pillar as she whipped the gun toward the sound and held it there. Silence. They waited. Again there was sound, this time a rustling. Langdon held his breath. "I never should have let us come in here." The sound moved closer, an intermittent scuffling, like a man with a limp. Suddenly around the base of the pillar, an object came into view. Figlio di puttana. Vittoria cursed under her breath, jumping back. Langdon fell back with her. Beside the pillar, dragging a half-eaten sandwich in paper, was an enormous rat. The creature paused when it saw them, staring a long moment down the barrel of Vittoria's weapon, and then, apparently unmoved, continued dragging its prize off to the recesses of the church. Son of A. Langdon gasped, his heart racing. Vittoria lowered the gun, quickly regaining her composure. Langdon peered around the side of the column to see a workman's lunchbox splayed on the floor, apparently knocked off a sawhorse by the resourceful rodent. Langdon scanned the basilica for movement and whispered, "If this guy's here, he sure as hell heard that." "You sure you don't want to wait for Olivetti?" "Secondary left apps," Vittoria repeated. "Where is it?" Reluctantly Langdon turned and tried to get his bearings. Cathedral terminology was like stage directions, totally counterintuitive. He faced the main altar. "Stage center." Then he pointed with his thumb backward over his shoulder. They both turned and looked where he was pointing. It seemed the Chigi Chapel was located in the third of four recessed alcoves to their right. The good news was that Langdon and Vittoria were on the correct side of the church. The bad news was that they were at the wrong end. They would have to traverse the length of the cathedral, passing three other chapels, each of them, like the Chigi Chapel, covered with translucent plastic shrouds. "Wait," Langdon said. "I'll go first." "Forget it. I'm the one who screwed up at the Pantheon." She turned. "But I'm the one with the gun."